Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. We're in the midst of day 3 of the Johnny Depp trial, and I'm trying to work as fast as possible to clip for you the most important testimonies, witnesses, etc. throughout the day. We're also going to have a post show after the trial, so I hope you'll join us. I've been working so fast, I nicked myself, and I need some Amica cream. So somebody, editors or Amica cream specialists, come hit me up. But let's get to this. This was an important witness I want to break down. This is Katie James. This is Amber's former assistant. This was on someone on Amber's payroll, not Johnny's payroll. Now, Amber's team's constantly trying to make all of Johnny's people seem like they're not credible because they're being paid by Johnny. Not only does he have his own employees, he's got Amber's employees. And oh man, Kate does not like Miss Amber. I mean, so she's very contentious. Let's make that clear. They're playing a deposition they previously taped, and here's Rottenborn, Amber's attorney, questioning her, and you can just feel and hear the disdain from the beginning of the questioning.
What were your job duties?
Too many to mention.
Give me your best summary of what your job duties were, please.
Is this relevant? Okay, so let's see. I mean, if you are ready for a really, really long time of me explaining all of the details, that's fine. It's everything you could possibly do to run someone's life. Okay, so it is grocery shopping, it is taking care of admin, it is running errands, it is getting the car fixed, it is getting the dogs groomed, it is picking up flowers, it is dealing with the decorator, it is dealing with the housekeeper, it is going on and on and on and on, and it goes on every single day. Arranging travel, dealing with all of the surplus staff around the travel, booking all the greeters, dealing with the changing of travel. Okay, liaising with people that she's working with on films, updating her calendar accordingly, liaising with the people on set every single day to update her calendar to ensure that she knows what scene she's doing each day, what her call time is. Every day it's something different.
So she clearly knows Amber. She's worked so closely with Amber. She should be, allegiant to Amber, you'd think, right?
But it's a lot, it's a myriad of things that go across the board daily.
You were paid for that work, correct?
Very poorly.
What were you paid?
I love it. They're like, well, you were paid, right? So you're very poorly.
Was it $1,500 a week to start?
Kidding?
Is that what?
No, I wish. My God. No, it was not. She paid me $25 an hour to start off with. And she finally agreed, after screaming abuse at me, that she would pay me $50,000 a year once I went to full time. And this was after me working for well over 10 years as a personal assistant. So it was very insulting to me, but I did it anyway because I had grandfathered in the ability to pick up my son from school and bring him to work with me at 3 o'clock.
So let's be clear, because she was a star in the UK trial. She came out and swinging there as well, and they tried to paint her as this disgruntled employee who lost her, her pay. That she's, oh, that's why you're just a disgruntled employee. No, she's not mad she lost her job. She's probably happy she lost her job because the job was miserable. And so, look, yeah, it's hard sometimes to talk to people you fire, disgruntled people. I hear it. But the stories she's sharing, she seemed very credible, and she seemed still very upset at the way she was treated throughout her employment. But as she just revealed there, very telling, she took the job because it was sort of a flexibility to be able to see her son, etc. Some more background.
Now, you were being paid for that time, correct?
This was like, they were talking about a Sunday moment by a party. They were trying to establish, like, well, you were getting paid and you were getting perks.
Not overtime. It was a Sunday. I was not being paid, no.
Did you...
She wasn't getting overtime ever on these visits that they're trying to get her. Well, you were getting paid, right? Well, not overtime. This was extra.
Yourself of anything at the hotel?
Did you get free food?
No.
Oh, you must have gotten some free food.
Did you
I might have ordered some food for my son, actually, to be honest. Now I think about it, because he was only little at the time. I think he was...
Here's someone overgiving to his sense. Honest. She's like, well, actually, I'm sorry their audio is low. I'm trying to boost it, but bear with me. Yeah, well, my son got some food. Okay, yes. Okay, I'll correct that.
So I might have ordered food for my son. I'm not a big eater. Food is not a huge priority.
He's like laughing how ridiculous the questioning is.
would you have put that on Miss Heard's tab that day?
Everything was on Depp's tab that day.
I love it. Mic drop. So you were putting on an Amber's tab, right? Once again, you were taking advantage of our client, right? You were getting something out of it. Well, no, actually, everything was on Depp's tab.
Did you ever believe that Mr. mistreated her?
No,
So, and why not?
just never any evidence of it at all. I was there almost daily in both her place and then eventually at his place in West Hollywood, and then ultimately at the lofts downtown. It was a daily basis experience, morning, noon, night, all days of the week. So, you know, I mean, I never once saw any evidence of anything. And there was never any damage to the apartment that I witnessed. There was never any aftermath of anything ever that I ever saw.
Now, you, of course, have no personal knowledge one way or the other whether Johnny was abusive to her, correct?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true, because if it was true, I would have seen the damage, even if I wasn't physically present in the moment of these alleged arguments.
Again, they're going on technicalities. Well, you never were in the room when it happened, right? So you don't know if it didn't happen. Well, yeah, you would. She's the assistant. She'd see the aftermath on Amber and the locations. She absolutely would have a better basis than most of us.
And what's your basis for that statement?
Well, if someone's being beaten, there's generally physical evidence.
Yeah. So, all right. So there's setting up the tone. She's never seen anything happen. Amber's the one who's doing it to her, mind you, verbally.
12 of page 1221, you were asked the question, red wine, and not only to come over for a spot of purple, but to fix her flabby ass. That was about Miss Heard, was it not? And on line 14, you answered yes. You see that?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you did understand this to be referring to Miss Heard, correct?
Yeah.
So they're trying to set up that, oh, well, you and Johnny
I'm
just
sorry,
didn't
you
like
said no?
Amber. I'm sure at
trying to
times.
be agreeable in the court, having no clue what on earth is going on. So there you go. I have no clue.
Was that answer in the court truthful or just agreeable?
Just being agreeable.
So it wasn't truthful? You can answer.
I don't have an answer for you, Mr. Rothenborn.
So they're just trying to get her to seem like she's not credible. Oh, well, you're not being truthful because you're admitting that to Johnny. Johnny said, let's fix her flabby ass. And you go, yeah. She's like, yeah, I said it, but what do you want me to say? Johnny is my client's, husband. She made it several times throughout. She's like, I treat him, and they treat them both as I'm a caregiver for my clients. And so I have to, I'm not really treating them the way I would regularly. And so, yeah, I'm being agreeable to, yeah, it said. And they're trying to use it. And it's just so funny because Amber's the one who's like saying so many that fat old man, et cetera, et cetera. But when Johnny says flabby, oh my God, what a monster.
I had one of those balloon mortgages, so I had to go through a loan modification. And I recall now that that's why I was able to agree to work for her for such a small amount of money than what I normally made. It was sort of as a favor almost.
He's like,
what was a favor?
He's shocked.
Work for her for like half my usual paycheck, basically.
So you were doing Amber a favor?
Yes, because
Yes.
initially it was described as a part-time, 20-hour-a-week thing with flexibility and blah, blah, blah. So, I thought it's not really in my caliber, but my son was only 4 at the time, so it seemed like a good idea, especially because I wasn't paying my mortgage, so I could take the hit by getting less pay than I would normally make.
Just the ego on Amber's team of like, oh, so wait, she was doing you the favor? This was a job you loved. Why would you leave it? Yeah. And she's a very eloquent and very concise in her answer. Look, there's disgruntled employees who will just be there offering everything they could to tear down their employer. I've met a few of them. I'm sure some of them feel that way about me. There's just certain people you don't get with. I get it. But my gosh, this testimony to me feels like she's really just, look, she doesn't want to be there. She's like annoyed, but like, I'll do my civic duty. I did not like her. When you ask me, I will tell you because I'm here under oath. But I don't sense her like trying to just get at Amber disgruntled, doing things out there. This is a deposition.
Go approximately once a week to pick up whatever magazines Amber was featured in, 2 copies of each, which I would then store in her garage.
So she was getting 2 copies of every magazine that Amber Heard was mentioned in to store in the garage.
Why would you store them in Miss
Why
Heard's
the garage?
because she didn't want Mr. Depp to see them.
Did she tell you why she didn't want Mr. Depp to see them?
No, she just got very angry with me one day because I hadn't quite made it downstairs to put them in the garage when she came home, and she went absolutely ballistic over that. Screaming, yelling, abuse, blind rage.
Were you ever with Miss Heard when she was getting dressed or undressing?
All the time.
Was it just when Miss Heard was in fittings that you would see her in states of undress?
No, it was also in her apartment. She had no issue with walking around naked quite often.
So two stories there, right? She's verbally not nice to Kate here, and then now we're talking about. So you saw her all the time, all out there, everything. Yes, she had no problem with it.
How often did you see Miss Heard doing her makeup?
Now, sorry, I know it's low. How often do you see her putting on makeup? Because remember yesterday with Isaac, they tried to say, well, you never see her put on her makeup in the morning, do you?
Just when she was getting ready to go out somewhere for a party or something. She usually never wore makeup unless she was going to a special event.
And when she did go to special events, would you describe her makeup as heavy?
It would depend. It would no makeup artist would do it, or if she would do it herself. If she did it herself, it would be light and usually adding lashes, and that's about it.
While you worked for Miss Heard, did you ever see any types of injuries on her?
No.
Did you ever see any cuts?
Nothing.
No.
Did you see bruises?
No.
Did you see swelling?
No.
Redness in her face?
No.
How about Miss Heard having black eyes?
Never.
A broken nose?
Never.
Missing hair clumps?
Nothing.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Ms. James.
Never.
Never. So this never happened. When I hope we're allowed to talk about this finally on this platform because it's non-existent.
She felt insecure about her relationship. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, this is another narrative that Team Amber's trying to put out there. Johnny's the controlling one. Johnny wouldn't let her do things. So here we have a first-hand witness who was employed by Amber.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
He didn't like being away from his physical presence.
Other than telling you she felt insecure about her relationship with Mr. Depp, what else did Miss Heard say about feeling insecure?
She told me she didn't like hanging out in his house with his friends because it was boring and they were all old men playing guitars and it wasn't interesting to her.
Oh, man. And look at Johnny like, yep, sounds like Amber. That. See you next Tuesday.
Appear to you that Mr. Depp was jealous of Miss Heard?
No. I do remember on one occasion when we were moving from part-time to full-time and then the salary negotiations became a real bone of contention. And I specifically remember standing in her office where she leapt up out of her chair, put her face approximately 4 inches from my face. She was spitting in my face and telling me how dare I ask for the salary I was asking for, which was in fact approximately half of my regular annual salary. I was offering her that as a favor, and she felt that gave her the right to spit in my face. And there was a witness in the apartment at that time, by the way.
Oh, but must be on Johnny's payroll, so must not count, right? Every witness doesn't.
Handyman Hector Galindo, he was so mortified. He was so embarrassed to hear her speaking to me like that.
And look at her.
James,
Remember
while
Hector?
you worked for Miss Heard,
Remember that awful handyman? Like his opinion matters.
did you ever observe her drinking alcohol?
Here's important too, because they're trying to establish Johnny's got problems, right? Johnny's addicted.
Yes, I did. Red wine.
What prescription drugs
So she drinks a lot of red wine. I trimmed
do you
this.
remember
Prescription drugs. This is
picking out
important.
for Miss Heard?
Provigil.
Provigil
Accutane.
and acetane. Now we're going to break down those tonight more on our live show. So join us there because I want to try and get an expert to really break down what that means. But those are serious, man. And I'm looking up what I've already seen, especially mixed with alcohol. This is bad news. She wants to claim Johnny Depp's blacking out and having episodes.
Did Miss Heard ever tell you that she was experiencing any side effects from Provigil?
She didn't say it, but I observed it. Manic episodes. similar to if someone was on some sort of amphetamine drug, moving very fast, not making a lot of sense, hyper organizing, hypertasking, just very, very hyper.
What drugs did Miss Heard tell you she had ingested?
Mushrooms, ecstasy, and cocaine.
Would Miss Heard's treatment of you change when she was intoxicated?
Yes,
How so?
she became more and more belligerent and abusive.
Guys, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, that was it. Kate, there's some other more moments we'll talk about it, but it's important I mention, I got to be careful how I mention this because this stupid platform. But Amber Heard stole my word I can't say survival story and twisted it into her own story to benefit herself. Says her fired personal assistant, who says she was, I mean, I don't want to get in the details there. You guys can look this up yourself, but there's a lot more, and they didn't even get to this. They sort of held this one back. But if you look up in the previous testimonies and things, what Amber has done to this poor assistant is awful. Awful, awful, awful. So there you get a sense. What do you think of her credibility? What do you think of what she said? Does it help change your mind? Does it help reaffirm what you think? I want to hear your thoughts. If you haven't already, can you hit that subscribe button for us? Hit the bell for all alerts so you get notified on these updates. Smash a like button. And I'm serious. If there's an editor out there, I need help, man. This is hard to do, and it's important stuff. So if you're an editor or hell, an investor to help me hire a good editor, please hit me up down there or in my description link. There's a link to help. So much important coverage. I'm working as fast as I can, people. So grateful to my amazing research team. We're trying our best. We'll be back live tonight and after every trial day around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So join us here. I'm going back to the trial, guys. I'm a little late. We're going back, though. I'll have it all for you later tonight. Thanks for watching, everybody.